Hi, I'm Kath. In this video we're going to clone and migrate a website using Duplicator. It's a follow-on video from the one I've just finished, which was about how to set up a dev site, so it's part 2 of that process. And we're doing it live on Beck Steele's site, or on her hosting. So at the moment I'm logged into her CPanel, and that's where we just were a minute ago to set up the subdomain. So this time we're going to come and set up a database so that she's ready to go with the migration. So first of all, we click here and it will open up for us, and we're going to create a new database. So it's going to be magicdir_cruise, and I click create database and it tells me that that's been done. So it's really important that I keep a record of these details. So I've got something over here ready for that. So that's the database name. Then I click go back, and I can now see that I've got a database there called that. I have to now create a user or add a user. So I'm going to actually give that the same name because that's how I like to do it. All right, now there's a password generator here that you can click, and it'll actually bring up a password. If you don't like the one you see, you can do another one, and so on and so forth until you find one that you like the look of. I always avoid these kind of really random symbols because sometimes they cause a problem in the duplication. So I'll usually kind of go through until I get one that looks, I don't know, that I like the look of. But I'm actually just going, and then you have to click the little button and then click on use password. Once you click on this thing here, that button is activated. When it's not clicked, it's not. You have to copy that because you're going to need it for the next step. But I'm actually going to pause the video while I do the password because obviously I don't want you to see the password. Okay, so I click use password. It auto-fills these fields here, and it tells me that it's very strong, 100 out of 100, which you would hope considering it generated it itself. Click create user, and it tells me that we've successfully created the user. I've already copied it and pasted that into that Excel document I had before along with the password so that I'm ready for the next stage. Okay, so if we scroll down here we can see now that we have a couple of users, and if we scroll up here we can see we have a couple of databases. This database has a user and this one doesn't, so that should be a clue to us that we have to do the next step. And I have sometimes forgotten to do this step here, and it causes all sorts of problems when you're doing the migration because it doesn't work and you're tearing your hair out trying to figure out why. So if you have trouble, always check that you added the user to the database. So we choose our user from the drop down, we choose our database from the drop down, and we click add, and then we have to assign all privileges and make changes. You saved the privileges, so that's good. Go back, and then we should see there then that now we have a user attached to that database. So there we go. Okay, now we need to come over to our gold standard site, or our starter site. For me, this is the one here. It's a lovely website about almonds. This is incidentally a layout from Aspen Grove Studios, and this is the site that we actually give to all our WebEdu students. So there's a lot of pages on it, a lot more pages than Beck would normally need actually. So once she's got this, she will delete all of this extra stuff and just make it a very basic starter site, but we're going to give her this for now and then she can go to work on it. So we hover over our name of the site at the top left, click on dashboard, and take us to the behind the scenes of the website. So this is assuming that you're logged in to your existing site. Yeah, if you're doing this kind of job, I'm going to assume you know those kind of basics. So I've already previously come in here and updated the plugins and updated the theme. It's got the most recent version of WordPress, so that's all good. And now I have to click on Duplicator, which is a plugin that I have installed here ready for this job. So if you haven't already installed Duplicator, please go ahead into your plugins and add it there. Now you'll see there's a bunch of packages here already built from before. We're going to click create new because we want a package, we want a copy of this website as it is right now, updated and ready to go. So once you click create new, it'll bring up the thing. Click get next because we want the whole lot, and it's doing a quick scan to tell me whether It's all good, 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 good. Everything's good. Now we click build. And it's going to build. So it takes a few minutes, and once it's happened you'll need to actually download both of these parts. So the installer is a really small little document, so I always download that one first, and then the archive, which we can see is quite big, it's 77 meg. So click download on this one, and then I'll just pause that while that one makes its way onto my computer. Okay, so just to be clear, the archive here is the backup of the site that we're going to migrate, and the installer is the little gadget, if you like, that actually allows it to be installed on our new site. So you can use this if you're setting up a dev site, as we are, and you're just wanting to move your starter site across, or you can use it if you're migrating a finished website into position, as you will when you've finished with your dev site. So we've made our backup on our origin site, and we've downloaded these parts to the local computer, and now we need to upload them into the destination site. And we do that by CPanel. Now, a quick note about that. Some people don't think that CPanel is a good way to do this. They would rather use FTP. But for me, I much prefer to do it via CPanel's file manager, because I've already got CPanel open to create the database and the subdomain and all that kind of thing. I'd rather not open FTP and have another process to fight with, as it were. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the file manager. A lot of people in our industry do it this way. I'm just telling you this in case somebody says, oh, you shouldn't do it that way. Well, you know, that's what they think, but it's what I do and what a lot of other people do, and it works perfectly well, and it's easy, so let's do it. So click on file manager. That was going to bring up that document again, bring up the file manager window, and we can see here the public subs _ dev site cruise, which is what I created in the first video in this series. So I click on that, and it's got something in it which is the CGI bin. I'm actually going to compress that and make a little zip archive, and then I'll just it's taking a while, and then there's our zip one, and so now I'm going to just delete that one. So I don't actually want anything there. Anything that's in the origin file you can zip up, and so you've got an empty thing to work with. Okay, so I want to get both of those documents into here, so I click here on upload, and it's going to ask me to select my file. Okay, so I've previously navigated to the file that I want. I'm going to click on installer first, because that is the nice small one. It'll be lovely and quick. So it looks like nothing's happening, but really it is. Here we go, down here, blink and you'll miss it, 100%. Now if we click back on our window here and reload, you'll see that it's there, so that's good. Now we'll click upload again, and follow the exact same process. Select file, navigate to the place where you've stored it. Here's a zip file, which I haven't unzipped, so take note of that, leave it in its zipped format. And we click upload, and this one's going to take a lot longer because it's much bigger. So you can see we're up to 2%, 3%, etc. I'll pause and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so here we are at 100%, and again if we come back here and reload, there it is. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, so now comes the exciting bit where we see if we can make it work. So our first thing to do is to open a new window and type in the address of your new site. So in this situation it's devsitecruise, yes.magicdirt.com.au /installer. Look, you can see it here autofilling because I just checked that that was going to work before I recorded it. Okay, so here we go. It's telling us that this is passed and this is passed, so now we can click, we have to click I have read and accept, and now the button is live and we can click next. Step 1 is done. Running deployment processes. This is exciting, isn't it? Okay, and I have an error message telling me to please try again as issue has occurred. So I'm going to try again, and I will just say that this is not that unexpected. God. Okay. Alright, a WP config already exists in this location, so that's probably because the process started, and so now it's running into trouble because it's got some of the stuff there and some of the stuff not there. So we need to return this to how it was before we started. So I've just highlighted everything. I'm going to unhighlight that, and the installer PHP, and where are we going? I don't want to delete that. Okay, so everything there that's highlighted now, we need to get rid of, because that's from the aborted try, so we need to get it back to how it was at the start. So there's our zipped original files, our installer PHP, and our big fat archive. So I don't know why it timed out. Sometimes this stuff happens. It's just, when it happens first time, I always give a little cheer and a fist pump, because it's like, yes. And quite often it doesn't happen, and it's just how it is. Okay, pretty excited it worked this time. I think it's because I gave a little swear when we're offline. So now you can see we have two choices. This step 2 of 4. Here we can connect and remove all data or create new database. We already created the database before, so we're going to choose this one here. Localhost is correct. Now I have to import from my Excel document the database name, the user, and the password. So I'm just going to pause while I do that. Once I've done it, I have to click Test Database, but I'll wait and see first. I don't think that shows up, and I'll be able to show you the testing process. So we're back in a second. Okay, so when I put the password in, it didn't actually obscure that. So I clicked Test Database, and it brought up this message at the bottom that it was all good. And so then I clicked Next, and now it's brought up this one here, which says Run Installer with these settings, blah, 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 and I'm going to say Yes. So it brings me to step 3 of 4, which is to update all the data. So the URL is this, the path is this, the title, it's not Cathwood Dev actually, this one is Cruise Control, might be Cruise Control Security, but Beck can change that later. That was the dog coming in the dog flap, by the way. Now we click Next, and it's telling me that now it's time to test it. So I actually find that some of these tests and things vary from host to host, so whatever suggestions it's giving you, just do all of those. So this one here, first of all, it wants me to log in. So let's do that. I'm just going to have to go away and find my details. Now, Beck hasn't got login details to this one yet, because this is actually my gold starter site, so I have to use my login details, and then what I do is go in and change those details so I can give her some details to log in with that aren't my actual master login details, if you know what I mean. Okay, so going to log in here. So you can see we've got Cruise Control login. This site has been successfully migrated, so that's good, and it's asking me to do a few more things. So it's saying remove installation files, so I click that. Bang-o, job's done. Clear build cache, do that. Oh yes, do that. Yes, okay. That's all good. At this stage I always come back to my file manager, reload this, and you'll see a whole lot of stuff is now in there, so that's all the contents of the website. I always just click on this size button and size it by big down to small, just to make sure that that archive didn't stay in there. It doesn't with smart hosting, it always deletes it, but with other hosts I've noticed that that will still be in there, and I have to manually delete it. Otherwise, when you go to back up your site, it's automatically got that extra 70 or 80 megs in there, which you don't need to have. So that's all good. Coming back over here, so this is all looking good. Now I can hover over, visit the site, see if it looks right. Hopefully there'll be some almonds there for us. Chick, chick, boom. So see our URL is devsitecruise.magicdirt.com.au. Beck now has this site live and ready to go. And as I said, she's going to go in now and remove all of these pages. So she'll just take it back to home, about, contact, get rid of all the extra media in the media library. She'll get rid of the extra users that we've got in there. And she'll create her own starter gold site that she can use then to migrate to all of her other clients, so that she can have a quick start up to any build that she's doing. So I hope you found that useful and informative, and we'll see you on another video.